everybody. Welcome back, man. How is the ITU family doing out there? We're back, man. Another Facebook Live. We're going to be talking about something really, really important, guys. So before we get started into that, I want you guys to prepare yourselves, man. Rise is on the horizon. We're getting kicked off this Wednesday. It's going to be a fantastic 5-day event. Mostly 100% free for everyone that is a general admission ticket holder, unless you are VIP. For those of you that VIP, get ready for a jam-packed week, right? We got a lot going on. It is going to be a morning and night session, so you guys will be getting the schedule here tonight of how the event will break down. So please prepare yourself. Please line up your calendars appropriately, and let's prepare for an amazing week ahead. So do me a favor real quick. Drop Rise in the comments right now so I know that you are locked in if you are here with us live. And now we're going to get in today's important conversation. So not a lot of people like to talk about this side of trading, but it is something we go through as traders on a regular basis, right? Most communities are going to focus on your entries and strategies, indicators and setups, but there is a personal level, like as we've talked about many times over many of these lives, that there's a psychological aspect, right? Once you're already in a trade, especially, that you start to think, things come to your mind that you tell yourself that may benefit or harm what your trade idea or setup is. So today we're talking about the difference between waiting and hesitating, and why the difference in the line between consistency and self-destruction caused that to happen, right? So this came from a real situation I've dealt with. Many of you traders, like I said, have dealt with, where you're in a position in profit. Your instincts are telling you, yo, I need to close this trade. You know, there seems to be reversal. Things don't seem like they're supposed to. But another side of you says to hold, right, through the trade for whatever reason, maybe conflicting beliefs, situational awareness issues, or you don't have a written answer for this scenario. So you hold, the trade reverses against you, you get a stop loss hit, right? And then your emotions start to spike. Then revenge trading could start to set in. And next thing you know, you've blown the account in less than 24 hours, right? And now you can't trade the next day. You're emotionally and financially wrecked. And a lot of this wasn't from technical analysis, right? And then the next day comes in, what, the trade goes exactly how you expected it. So this really involves just mindset and execution. So today we're going to break down honestly, professionally, and with solutions, right? So here's what most of you guys don't realize, is that the patience and fear can feel the same in the body, right? They involve waiting, they involve inaction. There's tension that's created in that, but it's only going to be discipline, right? Waiting, having clear, direct ideas. The hesitation, you're probably experiencing that from having an inner conflict, like we just talked about. Like one side of you is telling you, yo, hold this. The other side saying, I need to close and just take my profit. Or you have a fear of like, yo, they talk about in the trading space not holding to take profit. And that's because of a fear. And you don't want to showcase that fear. So you try to hold to take profit in this case, right? So you're not waiting. Sometimes you're hesitating, you're frozen. And then your plan is going out the window. Your ego starting to set in, and then what other traders start to think is that fear is that, like, I'm not trading, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You have this emotional negotiation going on. So today we're going to break down like why you guys don't follow your own rules, why the oversizing is hijacking your decision making, and that comes into play, the desperation, and really how to build trust again in your execution.
Welcome to Independent Trading University at ITU. We're more than just an education platform. We're a community built to help you succeed. Trading can feel like a solo journey, but with ITU, you're never alone. Our team is here to support, guide, and push you toward mastery. Technical analysis support, so you can read the charts with precision. Fundamental support, so you understand market-moving news and economics. Psychology support, so you can develop the mindset of a successful trader. We provide the tools you need to thrive: weekly live education, 24/7 community support, and real-time trading setups from experienced coaches. Wherever you are, access the education and mentorship that will transform your trading. Join ITU today and trade with confidence.
Because a lot of you guys have to understand that the plan you're putting together is built on a system that you trust, right? You're building a system that's going to guide you. So before we go any further with the technical side of that part, I want to pause and talk about getting off the charts. What is it emotionally and psychologically, that really needs to be taken care of because it's not your strategy. Like Daniel talks about all the time, it's identity. So we're going to segue here, and I want to allow you guys to welcome Daniel into this call and really get some insight. Right, this is a very serious situation, and it's impactful to what we deal with all the time. So Daniel, thanks for coming and joining us today, and have this impactful conversation for our last Facebook Live before Rise.
100%. Thank you so much again for having me, man. It's always good to be on here. And for those that continue to tune in, we're excited to see you next week, because if you think these lives are valuable, I am doing a full hour-long session going over not only everything we've talked about, but a lot of extra things that will surely change the way that you look at things, the way that you do things, the way that you look at yourself, other people, the charts, all of that. And it's just going to be super impactful on top of all of the other value that's going to be dropped there. So one of the things that Zay alluded to, really quickly, I want to talk about the difference between waiting and hesitation, because there's a lot of times in trading where you're waiting for the charts to develop, because that is a natural occurrence. The charts will go a certain way. Now, again, this is all based off of the assumption that you have the proper lot size, that you have your checklist, that you guys are following these things. Because what will happen is, if you have that checklist solid, you will be waiting. If you do not have a checklist, you're going to be guessing and then either hesitating or acting on impulse, both of which are emotional decisions. So you're going to go based off of a feeling that you have rather than what you're seeing. So looking and seeing are very different. Looking is just observing, and maybe you are looking at the chart, but you're not seeing what's actually happening because you have not established what to do when something happens. So there's these things called indicators or a trigger, where you'll be looking at the chart, waiting for something to occur. Once that thing occurs, then you can go ahead and take action. But if you don't have those things set up, if you have an improper lot size, whatever it is, it could easily lead to, again, hesitating or impulse trading, which is going to cause you to lose money. And then you're going to get the perception, oh, I'm just a bad trader. And then you're going to emotionally revenge trade, and then you're going to blow your account, exactly like what Zay was saying. And so the thing to understand, the difference between those is waiting is trust that you've built because of a process that you've defined. So it's a process that's been proven over and over again. And when I say process that's been proven, I don't mean it's proven to build you great results every single time, because as we know, you don't need to win every single trade to be profitable. It's a process that you've stuck to, that you're confident in, that you're able to reverse engineer, right? And then hesitation is simply just fear-driven indecision without any structure. And that goes for something beyond trading. That could go with your relationships. That could go with your relationship with food, with the gym, with your family, whatever it is. If there is indecision without structure, it's going to be a mess all around the books. So one of the things that traders run into as well, a lot of you guys have rules, and you have good rules, but they're more of a suggestion rather than a structure and a boundary. So in the same way, like if I want someone to stop talking to me a certain way, and I say, hey, you should probably stop talking to me like that, that's a suggestion. But if I say, hey, you need to stop talking to me like that, otherwise I will X, or that specifically makes me feel like that, don't do that again. That is a boundary, right? So most of us are functioning from suggestions, wondering why we're not getting the results that a boundary would provide. And the way that you know if it's a suggestion or not is how you treat it when you're under pressure. It's what is your default. When you're put in an emotional situation, you're going to learn really quickly. And the other thing is, whatever you're afraid of will reveal what it is that you value. And so if you have not established the structure, if you don't have these boundaries set in place, your default will be impulse. And a lot of us, as I'm sure if we all had our hands.
In 2026, traders cannot afford to sit on the sidelines. This is the year of the action takers. The year you make a decision that changes everything. At Independent Trading University, we build an experience that brings together what traders have been missing for years. Mindset that keeps you stable, economics that keep you informed, technical precision that gives you direction. One complete system, one community, one path to independence. From January 14th to 18, ITU Rise 2026 will take you through 5 powerful days of coaching, clarity, and next level growth. This is your chance to level up with your coach's lib, build your personal trading plan, and finally break the habits holding you back. General admission is free. VIP access is optional for those ready to go deeper. VIP $27 admission includes Morning Motivation with Daniel, Pre-session Q&A 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, recording access for 7 days. Enjoy 7-day enrollment to ITU. Part of admission will be donated to the Grace Works program. Receive a discount on the ITU 30-day bootcamp. Digital copy of ITU Trading Guide $4,000 worth of value for $27. Whatever path you choose, one thing is certain. If you want 2026 to be different, this is where it starts. Register now at rise.myitu.org. ITU Rise 2026, the year of the action takers.
On this call, how many times have you acted on impulse and regretted it immediately after the impulse was done? You're like, shoot, I just should have taken a
I don't
step
have
back.
enough hands to count.
I should have taken a step back, you know? And
Yeah.
so this has nothing to do with knowledge, because we all know the stuff. The reason it's so frustrating is because you knew better. Not I didn't know, but to know and not to do is not to know. So again, this is not a knowledge issue. It's a relationship that you have with authority and with trusting yourself. So there was a trader, and he entered into a trade that was valid. However, the start of the problem was he had over leveraged just a little bit. He had a little bit bigger lot size, but other than that, the trade was valid, starts going into profit. And then instinctually, he's like, I should probably close this because the fact that I'm in profit at all is a bonus. And I knew that I had too big of a lot size, but I don't want to be known as the guy who doesn't let a trade hit TP. So he stays in, and this is hesitation. This isn't waiting. So he stays in, trade reverses, he loses all of his money, immediately gets back in, blows the account. Now, what happened? Number one, it didn't start when he started realizing the trade was in profit. He should probably close that. It started with the improper lot size. So that you guys can really eliminate a lot of this fear and hesitation by, again, just sticking to those boundaries that you have. But there is no harm, there is no shame, there is no fear, there is nothing wrong with closing out of a trade based off of discipline and a feeling you have in terms of like, okay, I kind of understand the way I went about this was whatever way it was. There's who's going to tell you, bro, why did you close early and make profit? Like, if you do that, that's their own problem. And so, but what happens is, because of this perception that we have of other people or how we're going to be viewed, and it's funny, viewed by who? The charts? The charts are the only ones looking at you. You know, so there's this imaginary audience that we're pretending to be something for, which of course comes into us pulling people from our physical realm and we're putting them in this imaginary audience. And so what happens is you have this fear of judgment, which then makes you do that hesitation or that impulse, and things like this start to happen. And it happens way more often than you think. Maybe you've experienced that yourself. The other thing, again, holding on too long or getting out too early, again, based off of hesitation or impulse versus structure and discipline. There have been times myself when I've gotten into a trade, and the moment I entered it, I immediately got out because I only got into that because of impulse, and it was a break even. I was like, the second I hit enter, I was like, I know I shouldn't have done that. And I got out, and there's no shame in that. It does not matter. In no world does doing that matter. It really doesn't. It only matters if you think it does. The only way that something has meaning is if you give it meaning.
We're very hard on ourselves.
Yeah, it's super hard. And so again, often this instinct is ignored due to this external validation, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a couple questions that have actually been sent in. I'm gonna address two of them. We're gonna go over way more of them during the Rise convention as well, or event, excuse me. So what happens psychologically when position size exceeds emotional capacity? And I think that's a really good question, because the position size is usually created based off of the emotional perception beforehand. So you create your position size based off of the belief that you have about yourself. So I'm guilty of this. I knew that I should be trading, let's say, a 0.05 or a 0.1. but I'm so confident in this trade, and I'm like, I'm going to put a 0.5 because I'm this confident. I've been doing this long. I don't need to do the whole gradual thing. I'm just going to get in there. And the trade was going well, and then it starts to reverse. And I was excited about the profit, and I couldn't handle the drawdown, which is the reason you have to do this in progression. It's the same thing when people are building a sales team. Let's say they're making $1,000 a month. They want to make $10,000 a month, but $1,000 a month, you're managing 10 people. $10,000 a month, you're managing 100 people. There is a growth that has to happen to learn how to manage 10, and then 30, and then 75, and then 100. I could give you 100 people, and at the end of the month, you'll have 0 because you haven't learned the levels of maturity and the growth that needs to happen in order for it to be a substantial and structured and anchored growth versus just this quick emotional feeling of feeling good because you over leveraged, and then because you won the trade, you use that result to determine your skill set, which we've done all the time. So what happens psychologically when position size exceeds emotional capacity? Well, the answer's in the question. Is it exceeds your emotional capacity? And so then you start to overthink and you just act on impulse, and you don't even have anywhere to go. So it's a surefire way to set yourself up for not just failure from that trade, but an overall cycle of self-doubt. And then another question is, how can one unaddressed emotional moment spiral into revenge trading? Because of what we typically define that to mean. So we'll look at that one moment and we'll paint it as a narrative. And it happens our whole life. I've done coaching. For those of you that don't know me, I've been coaching for 7 years. I've coached over 1,000 people, ages 11 to 73, in every industry you can imagine. And what happens is there's typically one event, and they do something wrong, and then they label themselves.
I have something truly special to share with you today. Have you ever dreamt of financial success and didn't know where to start? Look no further than Independent Trading University. At ITU, we offer a diverse range of courses, from Forex basics to advanced technicals, along with comprehensive fundamentals education, mindset coaching, health and wellness guidance, plus stock and crypto trading strategies. That's right. Everything you need for a well-rounded trading journey, all in one place. Our mission is clear, helping you make extra income by learning the art of trading. Join us today at solo.to/independent-trading-guru and take advantage of an exclusive pre-sale. $50 for undergrad students looking to trade part-time, and just $75 for career traders ready to dive in full-time. With ITU, you'll master the art of making consistent income from the markets. This is your chance to start building a brighter financial future. Are you ready to transform your trading game and take control of your financial future? Look no further than Independent Trading University, your one-stop destination for comprehensive Forex education and so much more. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, we've got you covered. We believe in a holistic approach to trading success. Gain a deep understanding of market fundamentals, master your mindset, and prioritize your well-being. We're here to support your growth every step of the way. And let's not forget about stocks and crypto. Discover exciting opportunities and learn strategies to make extra income. The best part? We're running a limited time pre-sale for new students. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to gain the skills, knowledge, and support you need to succeed. Ready to make connections with your financial future? Visit our website at solo.to/independent-trading-guru to secure your spot in our pre-sale today. Independent Trading University, where trading dreams become reality. It's time to start your journey to financial freedom. Don't wait. Visit solo.to/independent-trading-guru now.
Says wrong versus doing something wrong. So let's say a soccer player, golfer, whatever it is, they hit a bad shot, and instead of saying I hit a bad shot, they go I am a bad golfer, and that makes me a bad person. And now we went from hitting a bad shot to being a bad person. So we go from losing a trade, which is it possible as a trader to lose trades? You tell me. Of course it is. Now, does losing trades make you a bad trader? No. Does profiting in trades make you a good trader? No, there is an entire system and list of things that make you a good trader. And a good trader is very simple, and it typically has nothing to do with the results. The results happen when you are a good trader. And even as a good trader, can you make a bad trade as a good trader? Yes. So that's not the questions that we're asking. But what happens is the way that it can lead to a spiral is when we use that one event and paint it as the narrative about the entirety of who we are as a person. So this is all going to be taught in depth at the Rise event. My session is on Wednesday morning, I believe. It's the first one starting us off. So I'm going to be going over a lot of different things. The reason this is important, it's going to teach you how to build structure before pressure. You're going to eliminate all of the emotional improvisation you've been doing. We're going to teach you guys how to respond rather than react, plus a bunch of extra stuff. And again, you guys are getting access to data and to coaching that I've been doing for, like I said, 7+ years. I mean, this stuff works. You guys are getting access to Zay. You guys are getting access to Michael. You guys are getting access to people who have committed their lives to simplifying the complicated. This stuff is complicated because we make it so. And so if you guys want to simplify the way that you look at the charts, the way that you look at your life, the way that you look at yourself, and create a duplicatable system where you can constantly be evaluating from reality versus your perception, it's going to really just change the way you trade. It's going to change the way you live, and how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything more often than not. And so the way that you can show up for yourself is coming to this, like Zay said, mostly free event, unless you got that VIP ticket, and just take a couple hours out of your day. Think about how much time you spend throughout the year, hours and hours on stuff that you don't even remember doing. If you go to the bars once a week or a couple times a weekend, that's at least 3 to 5 hours every weekend. There's 52 weeks in a year. 52 times 5. I'm not good at math, but that's almost 300 hours. Take 7 hours. Take 5 hours. Take 3 hours. Take one, even if you just come on the mental session or just come on the technical session. Get something out of this, because we are compressing. What happens when you come to an event, what happens when you go to a convention, you are actually getting time compressed for you. We are compressing 7 years. Zay's been trading for a decade, I believe. So
Just about.
we are compressing a combined, and Mike's been trading for, we are compressing a combined 27 years of experience into a couple hours for you guys. There's no fluff. There's no beat around the bush. We're going to give you the stuff that's worked for us, that's worked for others, and it'll work for you. And so I'm really excited to see you guys on that. It's been a pleasure being able to be on here a couple times a week and just dropping some nuggets for you guys. We hope it's added value. And I'll go ahead and kick it back to you, Zay, to close them out.
Hey, thank you so much, Daniel, for your time, brother. We're gonna take. I got a question here from Jackson, real quick. I can answer this. Does this send us into fight or flight off rip? Yeah, having that type of mindset is going to send you into a fight or flight mode, for sure. And that's the dangerous mind space to be in.
Yep.
So we'll take one question real quick and then let Daniel go 60 seconds. So anybody, you can unmute yourself and let's get it in. If you don't have one, then all is well.
Yeah, and if there isn't one, I can also just build off of the fight or flight thing really quick. When you feel like you're in fight or flight, ask yourself, what am I fighting and what am I flying from? That's all. When you're in that mode, like, what am I actually doing? Not, oh, I'm in fight mode or I'm in flight mode. Like, think about what that actually means, because when you have that reaction,
Are you ready to turn your network into a source of passive income while empowering others to achieve financial success? Welcome to the IT Referral Program, where you can earn monthly residuals simply by sharing the power of trading education. Here's how it works. Refer aspiring traders to Independent Trading University, earn 20% of their enrollment fee when they sign up, keep earning every single month they remain enrolled, and to top it off, enjoy a special bonus at the end of each month. Let's break it down. If you refer just 20 students, earning 20% per enrollment, you could be making $200 plus a month in residual income. Refer 40 students? That's $400 plus per month. And it only keeps growing from there. At the end of each month, receive a bonus at the end of the month. Even when enrollment price go up, you're not just earning, you're making an impact. By introducing others to ITU, you're helping them unlock financial freedom through trading while securing your own stream of income.
What you're doing is responding to a memory of the last time that happened. And then remembering that result, this reminds you of that result. And then that's what typically causes a spiral. So what am I actually doing? What am I actually running from? What am I running towards? What am I fighting? Ask those specific questions and it'll help you a lot.
Steve, you were unmuting at something?
Yeah, I was going to ask a quick question as far as so just this past week we were doing a review about how to trade if we don't have our snapback blueprint plan. So I wanted to see, are y'all going to go into detail as far as like specific what we call boundaries or rules that we can follow if the first point of attack is not valid for a trading week?
Is that a you question, Zay, it sounds like?
It sounds, yeah, more from a technical. So yeah, I'm gonna go over that. But here's the thing, truthfully about it. There is the things that work for me or work for Daniel or work for Mike, or work for even Jackson, as far as reasoning for saying, hey, I'm coming out of this trade or staying in this trade, is based on the results from us taking L's. Okay, so those losses that we've taken, you learn from and say, hey, this is a reason that I took this loss. So when scenario comes again, oh, this is that scenario. I'm going to take my profit early because I see the 4 hours about to close out. I see it stalling, at the top of the key, and it's going to come back. Why would I just hold through the pain? Why not just take my money? I've already been through this one time. I don't want to see myself go through that again. Right? So learning from that pain is one way to do it. Or if we're going to walk you through it, we're going to say, hey, look, this is a situation where this trade went this way, and this is why you should have closed, or this is why you should have stayed in it, right? We can go through that after the fact, but that can only happen in real time, like in a trading session, honestly.
And my my personal take on that is, how do you trade without a plan? Essentially, is I think what you're asking, and the answer is don't. Like,
yeah, that's right.
It's
Have a
like,
plan.
how do you, yeah. And I'm not saying that to be like facetious or make fun of you at all.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you read without a book? You can't, and you shouldn't. And so then what happens is, if trading is one of the very few things where you cannot do it and build a parachute on the way down.
Right.
Like that is, say yes, figure it out. Not with trading. I'm sorry. What you will figure out is that you shouldn't have tried to figure it out while you jumped out of the plane. So anyway, I gotta go. I appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Daniel. I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, see you.
All right. So to elaborate a little bit on that for you, Steve, man, you're gonna come in. So a lot of people are gonna come into this with the expectations of, I can come in and everything is upfront given to you, like most classes. Like, this is the books to be a lawyer, read these books, this, this, that, and the third. And I don't even think that goes that way. There is a lot of trial and error that's a part of this, because you're in a phase of developing a plan that works for Steve, or you're in the phase of developing a plan that works for Jackson, right? They're not always cross capable. You know what I mean? So there's going to be certain parts of this where, yeah, you're like what you dealt with this past week, where you have to say, okay, what happened in that environment? Here's what I missed. Here's what I didn't take into account. But then the next time that environment presents itself, you're going to take those extra matters into account. And then that's going to be the information that tells you, yeah, I'm going to keep holding this trade. I'm going to let this trade go. Because last time I was in this environment, I held the trade and it went against me and I was in profit. So this time, if I'm in profit, it's a decent amount, or it's that amount for the day, or half of the amount of the day, then I'm going to take it. Some things that I like to do is, if I'm in a trade and I'm up maybe 25%, I might take partials, 50% might take partials. This is going to be based on whatever rules you're comfortable with. And then, or 25%, I'm going to go break even. Stuff like that. A certain profit amount that you're okay with, that you really don't want to lose, just take it. You know, the other thing is, if you see it in a lot of people, this is what works. What I love about the testimonials area of ITU is that when you post, it's a key. It was a key for me whenever I posted a testimonial was to say, yo, I need you to just take my profit, because obviously it is a good enough profit for me to even showcase, number one. And number two, I have a goal to reach. So many of you might funded accounts. If you're funded accounts and you're trying to get funded, you should not waste any time holding trades, because it's not a personal account. Personal accounts, you can do a little more swing trading on. Funded accounts, you hitting your profit targets that you need to hit for the day, because the funded thing is a job, guys. The funded account's a job. And I'll go deeper because Saturday we're going to talk funded accounts more deeply. But just to give you this point, you are working for the broker and showing that you can make consistent profits week after week. So getting in the mindset of, I have a target to meet every week, and that's why we go and break it down and say, yo, we trade funded accounts a certain way. Many of you students already know how that goes down. So the reason we trade it that way is, one, it protects us, protects the account, and allows us to just meet our targets every week. And then you add the snapback, the snapback, ITU snapback into that. And remember, the snapback is built so you don't trade trades on days that it's just not there. So when you're taking trades and you're in day, say you think it's a day two and it sets up, it goes against you, you might get one more try and then you're done. But because your risk is well set together, guess what? You're covered. You can take the L and you can come back the next day and try again. And that's what it's about. That makes sense?
I mean, I might have to talk with you a little bit more about it, but like, say for example, if the snapback isn't working for a week, then I could do the OO trade. I can probably create an engulfing candle trade strategy. That's the kind of things I'm thinking about, is like, okay, if one plan, like one trading plan isn't, well, trading rule isn't working for a week, then I'm just figuring out OO trades. I'm trying to work on engulfing candle trades. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm trying to get
What's
at.
what's something else you can do?
I mean, just sit on my hands until it gets back to the blueprint type of
The
structure.
one thing nobody ever wants to do. So what you should go forward doing for this month, since we're getting past NFP and we're getting more basic trading weeks, use the snapback for the next 3 weeks on just EU and strictly only take trades using that blueprint. And then see what your results are at the end of the month.
Yeah, she's trying to add a minor. So get a phone on this.
Copy.
Okay. So one thing you guys got to realize when it comes to whatever your strategy plan and development is and what you're putting together is you're building it to be able to work over a 30-day period. So it's repeatable over a 12-month period. Okay. So when doing that, if you are, oh, hey traders, this is a quick reminder. The clock is ticking and this is the last 30 days to lock in on our current rates. If you've been on the fence, now's the time to really jump in. Here's the deal. For the next 30 days, you can enroll in Independent Trading University at the current price of $45 a month for undergrad traders and $55 a month for career traders. And we've held this price point for 3 years to give every individual the opportunity to start their trading journey for the cheapest possible price point out there. So that's right. If you head over to myitu.org and secure your spot, you'll be able to lock in at the current prices. Now here's the best part of the situation. If you're already with us, you're locked in at the current rate as long as you remain a student. That's our commitment to you. So if you want to start learning and earning with us at ITU, don't miss this final opportunity to lock in the best rate. Now we've had a phenomenal year. Many have finally crossed over that milestone of getting their funded accounts. So this is prime time for you to get locked in before the holidays, and let's make sure this happens for you. I'll see you guys on the other side. A Head and Shoulders, RSI, trend, SNR trader. Say those are the criteria you look for in your trades. You have to follow that plan exactly how it is set to the T for 30 days to even works. That includes the days it tells you not to trade and the days it tells you to trade. The days where the environment is well and the days the environment is not well. That's the only way we can understand and have some type of surplus of trades taken, so you can have a true idea, true hypothesis and theory on, does my trading plan work? It's the only way you're going to find out, is getting through an entire 30-day period. Okay, so to continue forward with our live today, hope that made a little clarity. If it didn't, you guys already know where this coming up. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty of things. I have that 3-minute your VIP window to ask any question and to help you with your education. Okay, so technically speaking, guys already what to do, right? So the problem, like Daniel talked about, is really not the knowledge of understanding technical analysis and support resistance. Like that part people get in the first 30 to 60 days. It is respecting structure under pressure, and not technical structure, but your emotional structure, your mindset structures, things you have in place that tell you not to. Like I said, the hard thing is getting you to do it and believing that you guys can do it. The second hardest thing is stopping you from doing it. So here's what we see over and over again. The trader enters position with a plan. The stop is defined, the target is defined. But once price starts moving and your profit and loss starts to become visible, the plan stops becoming the authority of the situation. Right now it's the numbers. Your emotions start to come to attack, and that becomes the authority. So now technically, waiting is waiting for confirmation, waiting for your setup, waiting for your conditions to be met. Hesitation is seeing confirmation but not trusting it, having rules but doubting them, wanting more without justification. And the number one technical reason is always oversizing, right? When size is too big, the objective disappears, and now we're more worried about the profits and losses than we are just the setup playing out how it's structured. And if it goes against us and breaks and closes, these are things we're not waiting for. So the objectivity completely disappears. Every tick feels personal. Time starts to compress, right? Fear is starting to override your logic. And then at that point, no strategy that you ever have in your pocket will ever work. It's not going to matter. So your brain is no longer analyzing charts. It's protecting your identity. Your ego is deeply involved. And that's that big key right there. Identity. Most traders don't hold losing trades too long because they're greedy, right? They do it because they're afraid of what closing early means about who they are, what the definition, how we define ourselves, the judgments that we give ourselves. So you don't want to feel weak. You don't want to feel impatient. You don't want to feel undisciplined or inferior to other traders that you're watching online. So you start to override that instinct that you're building to protect your ego. Your instinct will protect you. So if your instinct says, let it go, just let it go. I've had many times. I'm not saying none of this is easy. Trust me, guys, we're in one of the hardest environments around the globe, but it's possible, and it's something that can be worked on. Okay. So discipline, what is that? Not holding any longer than need to be. Discipline is executing when your rules say execute. And when the rules aren't respected, it's not a discipline issue, it's an authority issue. So if you don't respect your plan, you really don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, you'll never find the consistency. So when you start to break those technical rules, you're going to start trading outcomes instead of structure, right? You're going to start expecting certain things to happen. Because of your expectations, you're getting damaged, okay? So you start asking questions like, is this happening in validity according to whatever my plan is, right? So this is the thing about the work you're doing with the journal, is you're out that plan, you're lining out, here's the things you're looking for. So if you can check the validity of the actively in, and when things go wrong, you know what that is, right? So moving stops us, okay? Stop delaying exits. If it makes sense, just do what makes sense. Adjusting size mid-trade, that is also something that has worked for traders as well. Where you're in the trade, it's not really moving as you want, so you close half the position down when you're in a loss. You might be up 0.05, trade's in profit, You can take partials, but guess what? When the trade's against you, guess what you can do? Also take off some of the heat. Now, that's not possible, of course, in some of these funded environments, but once you get into regular trading, so know the environment you're in and how you can trade it. If you're using one contract, you may not be able to adjust contracts, but guess you can adjust the market size you're working with. Go to minis. I'll preach minis all day, every day. Give you more opportunity and get you to the 30-day run. So when you lose confidence in yourself and the logic starts to disappear and the urgency increases and revenge trading starts to begin, the emotional decision is going to lead straight to a blown account. And like I said, it's not because you're a bad trader. It's because you're operating without the proper foundation and you don't trust the foundation completely. And you only can learn and gain trust in time with anybody, even with a person, right? With human to human. You only build trust over time and operating and working with each other, right? So that same thing in your trading, you're learning how to operate and build your foundation and build trust for you and yourself as a trader. So prepare yourselves, guys. If this helped, please, again, comment below how this helped, what you can use from this information, and what you're excited about with Rise that is now coming up in just a few days. Okay, we want to show you guys this information is not hype. We're not giving signals. There's no BS. There's no shortcuts. I'm trying to give y'all the strict environment that's going to get you from point A to point B of being a successful trader. And it's going to be building that structure, that discipline, that emotional regulation, and execution with authority. Because many people out here are even still trying to make automation work in the trading space, and it is becoming very difficult to even do so. So as we lock in, again, mindset, economics, and technicals, those are the pillars of success in trading. So when you're in profit, you don't panic. When price pulls back, you don't freeze. And when pressure shows up, you execute, not hesitate. I'm closing this because of this. I'm done with it. Hang it up. I'm out the door. I'm going on with the rest of my day. So make sure you guys are ready. We're a few days away. Wednesday, ITU Rise, January 14th through the 18th. It's a free ticket. Why not come show up and see what we might be able to do for you to help you in your journey? Free registration is at rise.myitu.org. Invite any and everybody who's going to take this serious. Don't worry. If they aren't, we'll already know. So I want to leave you with this. The market is not going to reward any confidence that is not built through character, through development, and through pain. And it's not going to reward you if you are not prepared. But that preparation is going to start with building your foundation, and that is why we're setting up for the next week. So make sure you guys attend, and I will see you guys later. Thanks to everyone that pulled up. Thanks for students that showed up as well. I appreciate your time.